Episode 106. Thank you all for listening to episode 105, The Raiders of Bojangles. I'm Gary here with my co-host.
The Shiv.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's all you're getting.
That's all we're getting here. We had a fun time on the sports episode.
We did. That was a good one.
Yes. Talked a lot about anything but sports. We talked about porn stars and health insurance. We got political for a minute.
For like 90 seconds. Don't make that the whole episode.
We talked about Hoosiers, which was a great movie. You know, the NASCAR standings. We gave a good preview of AFC West and the Big 12.
Yeah.
I think it was a good time. But this is the wrestling episode. We're going to keep this one shorter than that one. So thank you to Wes Anderson for Moments in Time. Check him out on Facebook, Wes Anderson Music. Give him a follow on Twitter at Songs by Wes. Thank you to All Wear Clothing, the first and primary sponsor of Over the Line Sports Podcast. Next, thanks to Crandall's Quality Lawn Care. Give them a call, 419-704-5471. Serves the Toledo and surrounding area, and not.
Chandler, Arizona.
Chandler, Arizona.
Suburb of Phoenix. I've been there. They don't have grass. That's why he doesn't go there.
Yeah. You know, I did give him, years ago, I gave him the idea to have, to spray paint the grass green. And so he did it to his own lawn where he lives. And he had the brightest grass of anybody in the neighborhood because he spray painted it with that green shit.
Well, there's somebody who lives in the town that he lives in.
Yep.
I've driven by the house several times just to verify that they still do this, where they've covered their entire yard, front and backyard, with pavers, like the ceramic tile.
Really?
This god-awful rust brown orangish ceramic tile covering all their grass. I don't know if they have allergies and they're trying to keep the grass away, but the entire yard, front and back, covered in pavers.
That's just odd to me.
Yeah, you can look it up on Google Earth and find it.
Oh, God,
too.
I don't even know if I want to do that. But I might have to at some point. Thank you to Tim at Verizon. Verizon is a true technology business partner, helps local businesses deploy technologies that positively impact operations and can increase revenue for the company. Go to Verizon.com, find a sales rep in your area. Thank you to Cassandra at PNC in White House. Visit Cassandra there or give her a call, 419-877-0634. She can help you with all of your banking needs, whether it be loans, credit cards, or personal banking. She is there to help. Also, thank you to Steve at Savage & Associates who helped us out on episode 100, got us Frickers, got us the spot. We had a great time. Like we said, looking forward to episode 200, which will be next summer. The Pod Beats Patty Boggs 2 blank Boogaloo. Still looking for names for that.
I like Deuce Boogaloo. Deuce Boogaloo. It serves multiple purposes.
Yes, it does.
It's two.
Oh, my God, that's great. That might have to be it. That's fantastic. The Pod Beats Patty Boggs 2, Deuce Boogaloo.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So I found the house.
Did you find the house?
Yeah, I'm on Google Maps right now. It's off of Liberty, and there's the satellite view.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Front and backyard. Completely covered.
You actually found it.
Yeah, it's on Liberty. So next time you want to drive down there, yeah, it's hilarious.
My gosh. I still can't get over Deuce Boogaloo. That's fantastic. That has to stick. I'm already voting it. Hopefully Bear likes it.
Well, that's why I'm here, you know.
The Pod Beats Patty Boggs 2, Deuce Boogaloo.
There you go.
That's Did you guys ever do anything like, did you do any Boogaloo episodes?
We did.
I feel like you did.
Yeah, the second time we went to the tattoo shop and got us all tatted up, we did the grown-ups something Boogaloo. Yeah.
Was it Electric Boogaloo like they do it in the show? Sade McDennis 2.
You know, while you're running through your remainder of your spiels, I'll look up our SoundCloud account and
No, it's all good.
Find it.
No, that was the end of that, actually. So what I do want to talk about, so there are several things that happened, and I find it to be very important to talk about. And, oh, my gosh, I got cut off. See, this is what happens. This is why I don't carry my phone, or I shouldn't. I just got a text from somebody. It says they got their mother's eyes. And Jesus Christ, it's like a fucking litter of pugs. And I won't say who sent it to me, but you will see who sent it to me. So it's fantastic. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
So I made a mistake. Our podcast episode was episode 63, Kings and Queens Part 2, and Clay was petitioning hard for Electric Boogaloo. But I remember I won with The Legend of Curly's Gold because I wanted to make Brandon say it. See, he has to say what the episode is at the front, and we give him the stupidest things to say.
The Legend of Curly's Gold.
Right.
Well, at least we're going to be able to play it. I still love that. Pod beats Patty Boggs 2, Deuce. Boogaloo. Because it plays so many parts. It's just perfect. Oh, gosh. That's got to stick. Episode 200. You guys will be there for that again.
I hope so, yeah.
Hopefully, and I'm going to tell people to invite their wives or girlfriends if they have them, because they can drink wine. We'll get some wine, whatever. They drink liquor, beer, doesn't matter. We'll count it.
If you have wine and beer there, that's really all you need to get my significant other there.
And I don't think I'm going to put names on the back of the shirts next year. I'll just put the logo. We'll have like the same design here, just say episode 200. Or it might not even say it. It'll say the Pod Beats Patty Boggs 2, and then at the bottom, Deuce Boogaloo.
There you go.
And then maybe on the back, maybe on the top of the back, it'll say episode 200, and we'll have the logo. I think that'll work out great. Oh my gosh, you made my whole day with that. I just need you to understand that is just a fantastic name. Oh gosh. So All Elite Wrestling, you're familiar that this is coming on hot. And they've already got October 2nd. They're going to be on TNT. They're going to be on Wednesdays. So there's other news that I'm going to get to later. But something big that has happened this for All Elite Wrestling. So All Elite Wrestling signed Tony Schiavone.
Okay.
So I don't know if you knew that. So Tony Schiavone, and it was funny. I was listening to Jim Ross. He's got a podcast. He's always had one, but now he's part of There's several podcasts out there, like What Happened When with Tony Schiavone, 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff, and Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard. Have you listened to any of them?
No, and I'm aware of who all of those people are, though, which is a big win for me. I know that Bruce was Bubba Love, right? Or something like that. Was it?
Brother Love.
Brother Love, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. Brother Love. So Conrad Thompson hosts all three of them, right? And he started Something to Wrestle. So it's just amazing to me. This actually helped people get jobs back. Like Bruce is a main guy again with WWE. Bischoff is the executive director of SmackDown. Tony Schiavone just signed with AEW. And then Conrad Thompson added on Grilling JR. So he has JR, Jim Ross, and Jim Ross is with AEW too. And Jim Ross is a color guy, or he's a commentator for AEW. They've got Tony Schiavone, and just this past episode I was listening to, it was a Q&A with Jim Ross on Grilling JR. He said he'd love to work with Tony Schiavone again, and they fucking signed him this week. How amazing is that?
That's nice.
And they're talking, you remember Mike Tenay? He was another announcer there next to Tony Schiavone. They're talking about signing him too. It should be interesting. And you probably didn't hear this, because you don't listen to too much of a lot of wrestling things going on. But NXT, you're familiar with NXT.
Yes.
Okay, Triple H kind of runs that. Hopefully Vince starts backing away from WWE in general. But now NXT, starting September 18th, is going to be live on USA. So come October 2nd, when AEW comes around, they're both on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock. One on TNT, AEW, and NXT will be on USA.
That's pretty sweet.
So now WWE is going to have 3 shows on a week come October. They're going to have Mondays, Raw, Wednesdays, NXT, Fridays, SmackDown. Because SmackDown's moving to Fox.
Does the WWE still get interrupted by the Westminster Dog Show?
No.
That's nice.
That's on another channel. I don't know what channel that's on now, but it used to
fuck
up Raw every year.
Yeah.
I got pissed off every year. But nope, not anymore.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, because that was why they moved off of USA for a little while. I remember they went. Where'd they go after USA? And then they went
Spike.
Back. That's it. Which doesn't exist anymore.
Right. So it's probably good for them, I would think.
I think Spike's the Paramount Network now, something like that.
It could be.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
I just watch Ink Master and Bar rescue. That's all I know.
I don't watch much, honestly, anymore. Just things like I kind of stream a lot of shit on Hulu and everything else. But NXT, like we were saying, is going to be on the USA Network from 8 to 10 on Wednesdays, counter-programming AEW. So wrestling rivalries are back, or they're going to be back. AEW is going to do big, big, big things. So I'm looking forward to AEW when they start. I'm very excited for them. NXT getting on TV, I'm kind of hit or miss on that. Chris Jericho, he sent out a tweet which I found pretty funny. Congrats to WWE NXT for making the big move to the USA Network. Runners always race faster when somebody is right behind them. Gotta be fun to see which team the world decides to join. Hashtag choose Jericho at AEW Wrestling.
Nice.
I don't know. How do you think it's gonna transpire?
I don't know. I think, if they're smart and they do good crossover pay-per-views, which I'm sure is in the pipeline, which is why they're probably doing this, kind of like going back to the SmackDown Raw, crossovers. And are they going to have guys interrupting other guys' shows?
Oh, yeah. They're gonna have Raw and SmackDown guys come on to NXT, and they should bring down guys that are still prominent or that were NXT guys at some point, like Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens, Ricochet, any of those guys, bring them down. But I think what's going to be cool is, like, one of the guys that I like a lot that people don't get to see, there's several guys down in NXT. You got Johnny Gargano's really good, Adam Cole's really good, Velveteen Dream, he's like 23 years old. He is fucking awesome. But people are going to find out who he is now, which I'm excited for.
See, I like stuff like that because you can see people who are, up and coming, and you can also see, people who may be a little past their prime but still have something to offer, the entertainment world. So that's cool.
Right. And another thing with AEW, so Jon Moxley, or as many people know him as Dean Ambrose, was hurt. I don't know the extent of it. I didn't look into it, but he was hurt this week. Another thing going into WWE, the Jim Johnson, who used to do the music for wrestling, you remember like a lot of the themes from back in the day, it was all Jim Johnston. And,
Shattered Glass.
Yep. And then now he's got, like, CFO money was the people that did it. Recently, they don't do it anymore, but they made a lot of good ones, like AJ Styles' song, Shinsuke Nakamura's song. A lot of the songs you heard recently, the new songs are not going to be by them. They are no longer part of WWE and have not been for several months. I was not aware of this. So, pretty interesting. I don't know what else to think of it, but we'll find out who starts making music. I wish they would just hire like a band or a prominent band that people know and let them run with it. I mean, why not?
Yeah, let's get Zach De La Roca out of retirement and just have him do music for wrestlers.
Oh, dude, I'd be down in a minute.
So while you're scrolling and looking for what you want to find, here's the street view of the front yard of that house. Took me a while to get there. I had to walk it on Google. Yeah.
Oh my God,
isn't that nuts though? I mean, their whole yard, all pavers.
I got the address. I'm gonna have to drive by that now.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So what happened on Raw? So Jerry Lawler was in the ring, and like the lights started going out, and you're like, oh, it's the Fiend, and he's like, I've seen this before. So he goes up to the top of the ramp, and the Fiend comes out, who was Bray Wyatt. The Fiend, I don't know if you know this. You know the mask we looked at today at Barnes & Noble from the Joker?
Yeah.
That's what he's wearing.
The cut my face off Joker mask?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's his. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, but I have to check this out now.
Yes. He came out, he did the mandible claw to Jerry Lawler, and it was pretty interesting. Like it's not the exact mask, but it's pretty damn close.
That's pretty sweet. That's Bray Wyatt underneath that. He's new character. He's looking a little bit more svelte.
Yeah, he's been always a big boy,
but he's less hillbilly, more menacing. So,
yes,
yeah, that's cool.
And his lantern, he'd always come out with a lantern. His lantern now is his old head, but I don't know how long they're going to let him do that.
Kind of like paying homage to Al Snow level craziness.
Yeah, it is. What does everybody want?
Head.
Exactly. So on Raw, Roman Reigns beat Dolph Ziggler. Like we said, The Fiend took out Jerry Lawler. Booker T came on for Skype to talk about who he thinks is going to win King of the Ring because they're doing the King of the Ring tournament again over several weeks. And he said that he thinks that Drew McIntyre is going to win. Samoa Joe beat Cesaro in a first-round matchup for this. The 24/7 title is a big thing still. I don't know how much you know about the 24/7 title, but it can change. It's like the hardcore title, essentially. Anything can happen, but it's called the 24/7
It's up for
title.
grabs anytime.
Yes.
And you got to be ready to go.
It's the best segments. Like, R-Truth is the biggest part of this, and it's fucking hysterical.
So during an interview, you could be in a fight.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So he tried to interrupt a Elias performance to get it, and he failed. Rey Mysterio talked about how he struggled last week. He lost 2 out of 3 falls match in two matches instead of 3. He didn't even get it to 3, and said he wanted to retire. And then his kid came in, Dominic, and stopped him and convinced him to retract the decision. And he wanted to make his debut by teaming with his father. So they're going to team up. I wonder if his kid will turn on him and join Andrade, who Mysterio's been losing to. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. You know, you brought up Chris Jericho earlier, and I listened to a lot of Sirius XM, specifically the Octane station. Jericho has his own show.
Yep.
It's called The Rock of Jericho. He might be the most musically knowledgeable celebrity that I've ever listened to.
He knows so much shit.
He does. And so he'll start naming styles of music and certain guitar players. And, I mean, he knows a lot of people, and it's the industry that he's, pretty well connected to because of Fozzy. But listening to Jericho as a person has turned me into a Jericho wrestling fan.
Dude.
I didn't appreciate him as much during his heyday, and I would like to go back and watch, Jericho with these eyes, and knowing what I know about him now.
Yeah, and he is one of the best wrestlers of all time. And he just does whatever he wants to. So he's a best-selling author 3 times. He has Fozzy, of course.
He's an amazing singer.
He's an amazing wrestler. Now he was big in WCW, big in WWF/E. Now he's going to be big in AEW. He already is. New Japan, he was big. He has Fozzy, like we mentioned. He has he
has that cruise that he does every year.
The second year now for the cruise.
Yeah,
and
he gets big people to play on it.
He has a ton of big people. A lot of older wrestlers show up for it. They do a podcast on it. A few of them, Fozzy headlines for the music. They get comedians on there, like Fluffy's on there this year.
Yeah.
He's going to be there.
Gabriel Iglesias. Yeah.
Yep. AEW is the wrestling now on the ship. And I'm like, dude, he's done this. Best-selling author. Music is great. I mean, Judas is a great song.
Painless is a great song.
Painless is great.
And he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like an insanely nice guy.
He is a busy motherfucker, too. And he's a family man.
He doesn't stop, yeah.
He doesn't stop. He, like we said, the author, the music. He hosted a TV show, that one where they ran the fucking items off the side of a skyscraper in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember. It only lasted that season, but he hosted that. He has Talk is Jericho, Rock of Jericho. Like, he has podcasts. He has so much shit that he has his hands in.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck it, I'm going to do a cruise. Did it last year, sold it out. This year it's going to be sold out. I mean, it's just, this guy, anything he touches is gold.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And I didn't appreciate him as much because I think when you watch him, he's a good heel.
He's fantastic. He's a good face, but he's a better heel.
Yeah, and you hate him so much when he's in his heel mode, and he seems so cocky and arrogant. But when you get him away from that and he's out of character, he is so self-effacing. He's just a very, very down-to-earth guy. He knows exactly, how to play the part. But the real Chris Jericho is just an outstanding human being.
Yeah, and he does a lot for people, and he has when he was in WWE, he tries to reinvent himself all the time.
Yeah.
Like when he was in WWE, he had the whole thing like, you just made the list. So he brought out this fucking clipboard that said the list of Jericho, and he would just say that and hold his pen up and just said, you just made the list, and put their name on a list, a fictitious list. Now he wears a mask sometimes, and he's starting to look older. You can kind of see it now.
He's got to be
45.
mid-40s. Yeah.
46, 47, somewhere in there.
And
but
you can still have a wrestling career well into your 50s, but getting back from injury is harder.
Yeah. I totally agree. But he's one of the best. Like, we had a discussion. Who do we think has the most all-around talent? And it's between him and Dwayne,
You know what you guys should do on the show sometime, and you should do this with somebody who's more qualified to talk about it than me, but you should talk about Team USA versus Team Canada in terms of wrestling talent, and which country has produced the better quality wrestlers.
I like that. I'm going to write this down.
You have, I mean, because you got Triple H, you have Bret Hart, you have
Owen Hart, Jericho.
Hart, a lot of guys out of Canada who just RVD, you know.
That's a good
Team Canada versus Team USA, and see who's the king of the continent. You play it out that way. You pick your guys from each side, and then you do a fictitious tournament.
I like this. Do a tourney. You're going to have to be here for that because you came up with it.
All right.
You'll be qualified. That'll be one we have to study for.
I also see on your board that somebody picked Bob Evans is better than Cracker Barrel, and I have to agree with whoever came up with that, too. That's
well, you see, May 5th, 2019, Bear, Dub, Gray agree Bob Evans' breakfast is better than Cracker Barrel. All of us. We wrote that down because it's the one time we all agreed on something. Because, like, Brandon thinks Burger King is better than Wendy's. Don't even think about it. And that's not even true. Not even close.
There are items that I like better at Burger King than I like at Wendy's. But if I'm going straight up hamburger, just the hamburger and fries, I'm going Wendy's.
But the spicy nuggets alone, I can't believe you've never had them. They
I
were
don't
around for years.
But I don't eat a lot of fast food.
This is true.
I hardly ever touch fast food.
Well, you know, when this whole 30 thing ends in September, at some point when you're here in September, that we got to do our Taco Bell challenge.
See, not part of the deal for me to go back to Vegas is not only do I have to lose the 40 pounds, of which I'm down, I'm kissing 20, I'm closing in. But it's only been 2 weeks.
That's pretty amazing.
Maybe three. But I have to keep the 40 pounds off. So if I start hitting Five Guys, you know, that's going to be an issue. By the way, might be the worst name for any restaurant chain of all time. Because imagine this, you know, I'm not feeling well today. Why not? Well, I had Five Guys last night. Tore me up. Five Guys just running right through me. I mean, that's not a right?
Oh.
You say that about Red Robin, nobody bats an eye. You say Five Guys, it changes the whole narrative.
That's fantastic. Oh, my gosh. I can't.
Right, you can't. You'll never think of it the same way again. That's why I won't eat there.
What'd you do last night? Five Guys.
I had Five Guys.
It was great.
Because, you know, it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, and that's what we do on Wednesdays.
Right. We have Five Guys on Wednesday.
Did you get the Cajun fries? Did you get the Cajun guy?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Cajun fries? You never had them?
No.
Really?
No.
They're so good.
I had Burger King Satis fries. Do you remember when that was a thing?
No.
They were trying to come out.
I'm saying the Cajun fries are at Five Guys.
Yeah, I've not had Five Guys burgers and fries in probably 2-3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Something to look into.
I'm sure that they're still doing very well without my business.
Yeah,
they don't need me. They're not missing me.
No, yeah, because you just don't want to go say, "Oh, I had Five Guys last night. Ran right through me.
Right, tearing me up.
It hurt my butthole."
Right.
Yeah, you just don't. It doesn't sound good.
No, and see, something happened. The older I get, the more it's like if I eat fast food, I feel sluggish for hours. So
right.
I don't want to eat and then take a nap. I don't have the time.
So, would you consider Chick-fil-A fast food?
Absolutely, yeah.
And you still have problems with that too?
Yeah, I don't. Well, I don't eat Chick-fil-A really either. So
it's God's chicken, man.
I know it is.
It's so good.
I know. They're not missing my business either. They're doing just fine.
No, they're not. Their spicy chicken sandwich is great. All it has is chicken, the bun, pickles, done.
Well, they brine their chicken in pickle juice.
Yeah.
That's why it's so good. But yeah, I don't eat fried anything really.
I wouldn't consider that fried.
It is literally fried chicken. That's what it's called.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. So, so on Raw, again, New Day beat the Revival. Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston had some things here. Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss beat Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. And then Cedric Alexander beat Sami Zayn in another first-round match for King of the Ring. We talked about Ricochet and The Miz. I don't think we did. Did we talk about Ricochet and The Miz beat Corbin and McIntyre? Nope.
No.
Ricochet connected with the recoil on Corbin. We skipped over that one. So the big thing here at the end, Sasha Banks came out and attacked again. But the biggest thing and the biggest takeaway was Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins being your Universal Champion, beat Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson to win the Tag Team Championships for Raw. So now Seth Rollins is the Universal Champion and a Tag Team Champion. So it's kind of going to lead into he's probably going to fight Braun Strowman. I'm not going to be surprised when that happens.
You brought up The Miz. I'm always shocked when he comes up that his career has lasted as long. Because when he first came out, I did not see him having the staying power that he's had. He's been around a lot longer than I ever thought he would be.
And he was always a good heel. And he has, I don't know if you've ever seen it, there's a few promo videos I really like. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, before they fought at WrestleMania 26, is my favorite promo of all time. Rock and Stone Cold was a good one too, but Michaels and Undertaker going into WrestleMania 26 because it told the backstory of them getting there, how Shawn lost to him at 25 and put his career on the line, and they played it to Placebo's running up that hill, running up. Is it just running up the hill?
Yeah,
running up that hill, whatever. That's what they played it to. It was amazing.
I like the promo when Triple H came back.
Yeah, that was good.
They played the Creed song all the time.
Yep.
But after he came back from injury.
And Miz, his was good. You know, it showed him like he's just standing in front of some TVs, and it's before he fought Cena at WrestleMania, I think 27. And he's standing in front of the TVs, and Nas's "Hate Me Now" was the song, but it played like Hogan talking, Ric Flair talking, like promos, and then it showed him on, what was he on, Real World?
Yeah.
It showed him doing that where he's wearing the little fake belt, and he said, "I'm the Miz." And they're like, "You're crazy, man." And I'm like, yeah, people thought he was fucking insane, and he turned it into his fucking career.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just shows you that, yeah, he wanted to be something, and he fucking did.
And
his wife is smoking hot. I love Maurice.
Yeah, well, all those guys have very attractive.
Yeah, they do. You're
partners.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
But Miz, do you consider him a top talent overall?
I think if you're in a main event versus John Cena, you've made it. Yeah.
At a WrestleMania.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
yeah.
Yes.
Now he's a face.
Right.
He's no longer a heel. He's pretty good as a face too, but I think they're probably doing that to promote his show because he does have a show, Miz and Mrs., which is him and Maurice, and the show's actually kind of funny. But he just seems like a cool dude. He's a big Cleveland fan. He's a Cleveland guy.
Yeah.
He's
been on Twitter a lot lately, yeah.
Him and Dolph Ziggler are big Cleveland fans. They love Cleveland, and they're good friends too.
So you mentioned your favorite promos. Do you have any favorite interviews of all time?
I mean, the one that comes to mind right away is when Shawn Michaels turned on Marty Jannetty in the barbershop and put him through the window. I thought that was great. Randy Savage, always great. Just never knew what he was going to say, and he was just fantastic. And, if you listen to JR's podcast, he talks a lot about how some of the toughest guys to work with, one was Ultimate Warrior, Jim Hellwig. He was terrible to work with. He was not a good talent, and you couldn't understand shit he was saying.
No, he's certifiably insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so bad. But interviews, anything Macho Man did, Stone Cold was always good. Dwayne was good.
Dwayne's Hell in the Cell.
Oh, I did it for The Rock.
Yes. Where he...
when he knocks out, I'm going to drink a couple of Steve Weisers and do this. Yeah.
Listen to some Backstreet Boys. Yeah. That interview, like every maybe 4 or 5 months, I'll just have to get on YouTube and watch Rock's Hell in the Cell interview. It's the funniest damn thing he did in wrestling. Other than when he and Mick Foley fought in an empty arena, and during the match, he tells Mick Foley that he's 10 pounds of monkey crap in a 5-pound bag.
So what was it? Here, tell me, and you can talk about this, because I'm going to pull this up. We're going to watch it. Fuck it.
Right.
We're going to watch it now. You said it was Rock, Hell in a Cell promo, right?
Yeah, it's his interview. Like, I always thought Mick Foley did really good Mankind interviews, like when he'd call out to his mommy. That was always good stuff. Jake Roberts, for my money, gave the best interview I've ever seen growing up.
Rock, we are less than a week away from one of the biggest challenges.
Is that Michael Cole?
No. Kevin Kelly.
Kevin Kelly.
In a match you've never competed.
At least it's not Jonathan Coachman.
Oh, God. So terrible.
Where you and 5 other men.
Stops him right there in his tracks. And again, he was the highest paid actor this year.
Finally.
Can you see it?
I can see it, yeah.
Finally, The Rock has come back to New Jersey.
He says that because he does not remember the name of the city he's in. I guarantee it.
As for the very first time, Kevin Kelly, The Rock, stood right in this arena and called you an ugly hermaphrodite. It's this shore, and it's this Sunday night at Armageddon. The Rock will be in hell in a cell. This is going to be the most brutal match The Rock has ever been in. The dangerousest match The Rock has ever been in. The Hell in a Cell. And it doesn't matter, Kevin Kelly, what you call it. Whether it's called a Hell in a Cell, a Rage in a Cage, Penis in Uranus, it's the only thing that matters.
Oh, God, he's so
It's that
fucking
The Rock
great.
is going in this Sunday night to do exactly what he does best, lay it to smack it down, and get back The Rock's WWF title.
Still WWF.
At the time, yeah.
And the fact of the matter is this, is that The Rock knows this Sunday night he has his work cut out for him. The Rock knows he's got 5 other guys he's got to compete with. And even if The Rock has got to beat Kurt Angle, which means I'm going to drink a big glass of milk, eat some chocolate chip cookies, and then maybe I'll take 3 Viagra. Or maybe The Rock is going to face Rikishi. Beat Rikishi. I did it for The Rock. I did it for the people. I did it. Oh, shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
It's like his cousin in real life, too.
Yeah, it is.
Has got to beat The Undertaker, the American badass. Beat him so bad that one more time he'll raise up. Rest in peace. Or maybe The Rock has got to beat Triple H himself, which means
This is the best
he's
one.
got to beat the game in the middle of the ring. And he has a $2 for life.
So you can say hermaphrodite, but you can't say slut.
It's fantastic.
One more.
And there's one left.
Stone Cold.
Or maybe The Rock has got to beat.
Throw on the hat. Love it.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, which means I gotta get in my pickup truck, drink some Steve Weisers, listen to some Backstreet Boys. What? Backstreet Boys? And that's the bottom line, because the great one said so. Backstreet Boys.
So I wonder if he was able to do that in one take, or if they had to, like, try it a couple of times.
I think he probably did it straight
One
through.
more thing. This Sunday night at Armageddon, The Rock is going to do all he can to win the WWF title. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. Well, as you can see, as you can hear, it's going to be every bit.
So for my money, the Attitude Era is the gold standard of wrestling.
Oh, my God, yes.
I don't know. I don't care how big John Cena becomes in terms of movie career, or The Miz, because he's done some acting as well.
Ugh.
You're
He's in
not
the Marine 27, yeah.
right, but I don't know that we will ever see the talents that we saw in the late 90s, early 2000s. Everybody in America knew who Rock was
Oh, yeah.
before he even did that stupid Scorpion King movie.
Yep.
Everybody knew who Stone Cold was,
Right.
even if they didn't watch wrestling. And I know that, people knew who Hulk Hogan was and Roddy Piper back in the day, but they weren't this big.
No.
They
Well,
were
Hogan-
never.
Hogan was huge. in the 80s and 90s, especially when he was
Rocky
NWO.
3 and No Holds Barred. And he was a big guy. He was the draw in wrestling, and in the late 70s and all of the 80s and early 90s, and then he kind of dropped off. And then when he turned heel, he was big again. Right.
And then, but Rock and Stone Cold, for a short period of time, they were larger than life.
Yeah.
And he lasted, Hogan lasted for years because nobody else was there. Flair was there, but Flair was in other territories and wasn't big like Hogan.
Right.
But, he was huge in these other territories. Hogan was just, because he was with Vince. That's why.
Right.
He was Vince's guy. Him and Vince made WWE.
Yeah.
And then Stone Cold and The Rock brought WWE back, pushed him over WCW, and that's what made them. That's why they won.
Right.
Is those two guys? Primarily Stone Cold.
On their backs alone. Really. And I don't know that we'll ever see that. That's lightning in a bottle. I don't know that you'll ever get two guys like that for the company
at the same time.
Again. No.
Yeah. No.
No.
Mm-mm. And you think of the guys that were there at the time. Hogan was still wrestling a little bit, but Undertaker was there. He was big, but he wasn't like them.
No.
But he's been a draw for years, usually at WrestleMania. But, yeah, I agree that
you can have Undertaker sit out an entire year, just throw him on the card for WrestleMania, and he's good to go.
Right.
Right.
And he might do okay.
As far as his body goes, it's probably, he's good for one match a year at this point.
Right.
You've seen those. Everybody probably listening has seen the pictures of him at the airport just looking beat up and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
sad, but, it is what it is. He'll come back for all that blood money every time they go to Saudi Arabia.
You give Undertaker a couple of months, to get his stuff together, and
he'll be solid.
Right.
Right. So, SmackDown, we got to cover SmackDown real quick. Buddy Murphy, who got pushed last week as the guy with Roman Reigns, fought him, lost to Roman. It was an accidental push to push him. He actually beat Daniel Bryan clean. So it was a good match. He's coming around. I hope they get rid of his, Buddy Murphy's just a shitty name. Just call him Murphy.
Why do you think Roman Reigns has been getting such a push over the last couple of years? As a casual
he's been trying
observer,
to push him 4 or 5 years. Vince has as a top guy, and maybe he's trying to draw off at Dwayne, and he's Dwayne's family. But people hate Roman.
He's not. There's no there. Do you know?
I totally agree.
There's no sizzle to the steak.
No, I totally agree. But it is what it is. We'll see. He's going to keep pushing him. He'll eventually get the title again. Everybody will hate it, but if Vince steps away and goes more towards XFL and focuses on that, which he should.
That's what's going to happen. Let Shane run it. Let Shane and Stephanie and
just let Triple H run it.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably happening more than
it happens with NXT, and he's starting to slowly, now Paul Heyman's able to kind of essentially run with Raw. It's his show. It's becoming more and more of Heyman's. Vince still gets the final say, but he's listening to Heyman, which that's a big deal.
Is he doing most of the writing and the booking then?
Heyman's the executive director, but he makes decisions on what's going on. It's a big deal. He's trying to push it, and he's trying to actually tell a story, which is a problem in the past. Yeah. They'd just be like, oh, here's the story. Where'd it come from? Why is it over now? Nobody understands. And he's trying to tell a story. But
back in the day, Bischoff and, what was the Russo?
Oh, yeah, Vince Russo.
Do you know what Russo's process was for coming
Probably
up
threw
with?
A dart at a board?
No. He would watch Jerry Springer and soap operas. I'm not kidding. And then he would put pen to paper and start coming up with his wrestling storylines based off of Jerry Springer and soap operas. I'm not kidding.
That's terrible. So King of the Ring matches. So Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon have had this rivalry, and he said he'll drop the fine and do this and not suspend him. But if he does something again or hits a referee, it's going to cost him. So they go through. He goes to fight Elias, and then here comes Shane. His music hits. He comes out, and he walks out, sits by the ringside, gets in the ring, pulls off his coat, and he's got a ref shirt on, so Kevin Owens can't hit him or he'll get fired if he hits a ref. And then Elias rolls him up 1, 2, 3 fast, just like that. Over. Elias wins first round. King of the Ring. Kevin Owens is out. Sami Zayn was a guest on Miz TV, and basically he's been getting beat the past few weeks, so he's more of a talker now and helper. And then Shinsuke Nakamura's out and gives the Kinshasa to Miz twice. Okay. Revival beat Heavy Machinery. Charlotte Flair was on Moment of Bliss, and then Bayley came out and pushed her over in her chair. It was boring. And Andrade beat Apollo in the King of the Ring first round. And I think Trouble in Paradise out of nowhere, Kofi got the jump on Randy Orton in the Revival on SmackDown. So that was pretty good too. And then at the end, they did this whole thing about who hit Roman Reigns. And they said, oh, it wasn't Eric Rowan. So they unmasked this guy, and it's a guy that looks just like Eric Rowan, who's bald and has a big-ass red beard. And I'm like, well, this is getting worse and worse and worse. I don't understand why they're doing this. But that's not Paul Heyman because he's Raw. This is SmackDown. It's terrible. It is literally terrible.
And who's running SmackDown right now?
Vince. Still, Eric Bischoff's the executive director, but they're not going to give him power. There's no fucking way. But that made me think that we got to get to Jeremy's stuff because I know Jeremy had more stuff for wrestling. All right, wrestling topic. I'm sure you'll discuss NXT versus AEW Wednesday Night Wars coming up. How funny is it that USA Network versus TNT yet again after all these years? What is your prediction on who will win the ratings war by the end of the year? I think Vince is a genius putting NXT up against them. They literally have nothing to lose. AEW is supposed to be a minor league NXT. If not, any tiny chance of competing with WWE is over before it began. Brilliant move. I personally think AEW wins the first month just because people want to check it out, but ratings will drop each week until NXT, the better product, will win out. Valid thoughts? I think AEW is going to dominate it for a while because nobody knows what it is. Several of us know what NXT is. Any WWE fan that's a legit fan knows what NXT is. It does have better talent. If Vince gets his hands on NXT and ruins it, I think AEW runs with it. If they leave it with Triple H, eventually NXT will take it over because people are going to get sick of Dean Ambrose. I mean, they like him, but Jericho and all these same guys at the top, Cody Rhodes and Adam Hangman Page is going to fight Jericho for the title, which would be great. But you've got several people, the Jackson, the brothers, and that are at the top with Cody Rhodes and other guys. And it's like, is Cody Rhodes a big draw? No. There's NXT guys that I think could be bigger draws, and depending on the matches they put on, we'll see. But he's probably right, but I think AEW takes it for more than a month. I think they finish it out with the year. But I think he's right that as long as Triple H can stay there, NXT will eventually take it over. But he's right. What do they have to lose, by going on TV?
No, nothing. I do think, though, that if you're going to offer a counter product, you have to separate yourself enough to be a draw. I think the greatest thing that Paul Heyman did with ECW to pose a threat to Vince was, he said, we're going to take your product, but we're going to, bring the fans up close. We're going to just do hardcore matches. We're putting people, he gave us something we hadn't seen in the WWE up to that point. So, I don't know. What can you do? What can you do that NXT is not doing?
It'll be NXT pushes the envelope. Triple H knows what he's doing. They're going to have to come up with some shit. I don't know what they're going to do, AEW, but it's not WWE. NXT is a product of WWE. So if people know that Triple H is still behind it, I could see it doing better. But this AEW is something completely different, and it's the guys that are not happy. A lot of them are the guys that aren't happy with WWE.
I think a big mistake, and I talk about Vegas a lot, but one of the dumbest things Las Vegas ever did was when the economy was bad and they were losing money, was they tried to market themselves as a family-friendly vacation destination, and it blew up miserably because it is absolutely not that. When WWE has gone a more wholesome, family-friendly route, it lost the interest of me, a casual viewer who used to be a dedicated viewer,
right?
Because there's nothing, there's no bite to it. And I know that you can only push the envelope so far with basic cable, but at the same time, it's become a very safe and repetitive brand.
Mm-hmm.
The guys they're new faces rehashing the same storylines that they have been for 30 years.
Right. It's not going to change. So, Jeremy, I can agree. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But so some things in history. We watched Brock versus Rock last week from SummerSlam 02, and it actually took place on this day, August 25th. Kurt Angle beat Rey Mysterio. Ric Flair beat Jericho. Edge beat Eddie Guerrero. Christian and Lance Storm beat Booker T and Goldust to keep their tag titles. RVD beat Chris Benoit to win the Intercontinental Championship. Taker beat Test. Shawn Michaels fought Triple H in an unsanctioned street fight, almost 30 minutes, and he won. And then, of course, Brock beat Rock for his first title.
A couple of the names you just read are dead.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
When you think about it, it's nuts.
Whatever happened to... God, you named him, and I already forgot. The guy with the buzz cut that was Lance Storm. Whatever happened to him?
He's I think he's a trainer now. He might be with... I don't know if he's with AEW or not. I know we talked about Dean Malenko last week, who is with AEW.
That's a guy who had a shitty character. Lance Storm was not allowed to have any personality. I felt bad for him.
Yeah. So that's the big thing that happened on this date years ago. So we can talk about some birthdays if we see any that look good. Ivan Koloff. Now, he was born in 1942.
I don't know who that is.
Steve Regal.
Steve Williams' friend.
Steve, yeah. Regis Philbin. Because he's part of WWE or wrestling. So Regis Philbin, it's his birthday today. He is 88.
Wow. He actually looks pretty good for 88.
Yeah. And, that's about it. So that's all I got for this. I don't think I covered everything on here. This day in history, it's interesting. I wanted to go 30 minutes. We've gone 50.
Good deal.
So that's kind of crazy. I don't know how we got 50 minutes in, but it is what it is. So thank you to Wes Anderson for Moments in Time. Check him out on Facebook, Wes Anderson Music. Give him a follow on Twitter at Songs by Wes. Thank you to All Wear Clothing, Crandall's Quality Lawn Care, Tim at Verizon, Cassandra at PNC, and Steve at Savage & Associates. And as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.